Hello, my friends, and welcome back to our interview series, Cultivating Healthy and Vibrant Workplaces. By way of introduction, I am Lisa Kelly, President and founder of the Workplace Wellness Center of Excellence and Director of our Workplace Wellness Leadership and Executive Wellness Leadership programs. So joining me today is Abe Crystal, and Abe is co-founder of Ruzuku, an easy-to-use online course platform for entrepreneurs, creatives, and small businesses that has hosted more than 50,000 courses, serving over 500,000 students around the world. Now, Abe is the one to go to for all things e-learning. He has a PhD in human-computer interaction at UNC Chapel Hill, and his specialties are in learning design and user experience research. So today, Abe and I are going to be discussing a topic that we feel is especially relevant and valuable for the current pandemic work climate we are operating in, and that is specifically virtual learning strategies for cultivating employee well-being, and in particular for those who may be working remotely. And then we'll talk about, of course, through our discussion, how virtual learning strategies and tools such as Ruzuku can help support both culture and team building in our emerging hybrid work environments, which, as we know, is being talked a lot about today. And basically that is the emergence of work environments that have employees who perhaps are working remotely, and those, organizations that also have some who work on site at work sites. So welcome, Abe, to our interview series, and it's great to have you join us. And I've really been wanting to do this interview with you for some time now, so I'm glad we could finally connect. So how are you these days in this dynamic pandemic time we find ourselves in?
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. And like everyone, feeling a bit unsettled, but looking to help as much as we can in this world of online learning.
I bet. And I bet your services are probably perhaps in hot demand these days by those who may be transitioning their programs to online. And we're going to talk more about that in just a few minutes. So before we deep dive into our topic today, up till recently, organizations to support their employee needs and maybe through their wellness programs have invested heavily in things such as games rooms, maybe nap pods, or maybe have had, things like bring your dog to work day, or maybe offered free lunches, perks that are really focused on the physical factors of our workspace. That maybe perhaps no longer is relevant today or be a priority for many employees working from home especially. And now that a vast number of employees are working from home, what my experience has been with clients and the research that I've done, in preparing for our courses, new courses recently, and for this interview, we found that, investments in more meaningful and perhaps lasting emotional connection between employees and employers is going to serve our employees and our organizations more in this climate. Okay, so really what employees are really looking for are opportunities and experiences that really help them form meaningful connections to their team members and leaders during these times, say, of social distancing, for example. And one article stated, and I'm just going to read here, that with unemployment surpassing 40 million in the US, developing emotional connections with employees is especially important, as now companies are reducing full-time workers and increasing digitalization and automation in their workplace. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So, perhaps now is the time for organizations to step back and reset their approach to supporting their employees, particularly as we continue to develop these hybrid work environments. Okay. So to further validate the increased need then for connectedness via employee experiences, in an article by Forbes entitled "Employee Experience is More Important Than Ever During the COVID-19 Pandemic," they cited 5 key suggestions for organizations to consider. So number 1, they said to see the employee experience through the lens of their employees. Number 2, they said to listen to their employees, to understand what type of virtual and physical workplace environment they want. And 3, to, the future of work is the future of worker well-being. I want to say that again. They see and suggest that the future of work is the future of worker well-being. And of course, being a workplace wellness provider, that one really resonated with me. And number 4, that employee experiences should be embraced as a business initiative that cross-functional involvement of key stakeholders. And lastly, that employees are encouraged to explore and create agile methods to design optimal employee experiences rather than just solving a pressing problem. So based on everything I just shared, I'd like now to really, for Abe, I'd like for us to just talk about the role of e-learning, in these pandemic times and going forward, if you will. And so based on my opening comments, with organizations looking to shift from perhaps face-to-face to perhaps online training, what do you see as both perhaps the opportunities and the challenges in making this shift?
Sure, great question. So there's tremendous opportunity and also a lot of challenge at the same time. So the opportunity, of course, is to be able to serve many more people in a much more flexible and scalable way. So people that you cannot reach through in-person training, whether that was because of physical or geographic constraints you already had, or it's because your entire operation has been upended because of COVID, you have an opportunity to serve those people. So that's why everyone is looking at online learning as a piece of what they're doing these days, even if you weren't before. But it's not as sort of obvious as it may seem at first how you make that translation or that migration. It's not just a matter of essentially copy pasting what you were doing in person and having that appear magically online. Or another way to frame it is, you don't want to create just a sort of poor man's version of your in-person experience as your online experience. What you really want to create is something that is very tailored to the capabilities, but also the very real limitations of the online environment. You want to make the most of it to create something that's really effective for your team.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So are there any inherent challenges that you see, that we spoke about in terms of organizations making this shift? Any that come to mind?
Well, I think the big challenge is thinking that content or instructional techniques or engagement methods that have been designed for in-person environment will again just translate directly online. So for example, a presentation that resonated well in an in-person workshop with a lot of hands-on activities and a lot of personal connection with the instructor, that may fall flat if you attempt to just deliver that directly through, let's say, a live webinar.
Right.
Really, the more strategic approach is to reconceive the material and the approach for the outcomes you're trying to get to, but with the online delivery in mind.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And, one thing I've experienced through Ruzuku, and we'll talk more about that, is that it's a wonderful platform on so many levels, but right now, even through the COVID course, the transitional leader course that myself and Phil are delivering, it's really creating that sense of community of wellness professionals, leaders, corporate leaders, trainers, OH&S professionals. We have quite a gamut of people taking that course. And they said that they really appreciate, the co-creation of ideas. And we provide a lot of tools and support and training and resources, incredible resources, especially for the price point we're offering it right now. But they really, have commented a lot about the sense of connectedness and the learning and really creating that learning community among them. And they've really valued that.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So over the past 5 years, as you know, our Workplace Wellness Center of Excellence has used Ruzuku exclusively, along with Zoom for our webinar facilitation, for our Workplace Wellness Ambassador certification programs, and recently the launch of our Executive Wellness Leadership Program. So again, just to expand maybe on what we just talked about, how do you see e-learning platforms, of course, such as Ruzuku, playing a pivotal role in building perhaps cohesive and collaborative cultures as we emerge into, more of the hybrid work environment, that being again the blend of on-site and remote employees.
Yeah, I mean, I think you described it well in terms of how you design and deliver your own programs. Really, the opportunity is to not just think of online learning as content delivery, but to think of it as creating an experience that includes discussion and collaboration and sharing among participants. So that doesn't have to involve anything incredibly complex. It can start with just creating engaging discussion prompts and questions for people to share their experiences in the program and to learn from their facilitators, as well as sharing ideas with their peers, their colleagues in the program. And it can continue through just designing and facilitating really engaging webinars that give people an opportunity to participate and not just to passively consume content. So just kind of starting with those like pillars of a good learning experience can enable your participants to feel that they're collaborating with you and they're contributing to as you mentioned, a cohesive culture, again, not just being presented with an array of content.
And just, to add to that, as you know, and we're experiencing as we're working in this hybrid work environment, and we have some organizations right at this time of recording, and we're, this is recording at the end of June here now, that some organizations are making the shift to bring their employees back to their work sites, and some are electing to still have that hybrid, and probably, all indications are that they're going to continue probably developing their hybrid work environment, looking at, those essential workers that need to be on work sites, but also allowing that opportunity for those who want to work from home where there's a fit to continue doing so. And so we really have to look to what tools, especially in the context of workplace wellness and training and development, what tools can we use? And I just really see Ruzuku playing such a vital role. And of course, it's so easy to use. And we're going to talk more about that. So there's no worries around that area either. I mean, within 20 minutes easily, you can learn how to use and set up the platform. But, just to give you a case in point, I spoke about the COVID transitional leader course, but we also offer other courses. And so, for example, here's an opportunity I put out to organizations. Through Ruzuku, we offer many programs, but another one is called the Focus on Healthy Eating. And so we all know that, our attention to our diets and nutrition is not so great these days. And so that's long-term going to have impacts on our employees. So here's an opportunity to use a platform like Ruzuku through a program maybe like ours, our Focus on Healthy Eating program, and bring employees together, do the bonding and the sharing and team building, but also on the same token, you're developing, their personal wellness, right? And enhancing their eating and giving them a forum through online discussions, through Ruzuku, to, share their challenges in this current climate, in this pandemic, and share, how they're not eating so well, and use each other for supports, right? To enhance their nutrition or enhance their physical fitness. And we can, we build that part into the course there too. So that's just one, I guess, example, right, of how we can help support our employees in this climate using a platform such as Ruzuku. Yeah. Anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think that's great. I think we can continue to talk about kind of the life cycle of creating a course, engaging people with it, and kind of what technological support you need to do that.
Yeah, well, that's great. I'm glad you asked that or mentioned that, because I'd like to really deep dive further then into how, say, an independent workplace wellness professional, or maybe a business consultant or a corporate trainer, might be able to leverage all that Ruzuku. And you have quite a lot of features. It's a very robust platform, and how you can leverage all that to, to in turn maybe grow your training programs or your coaching or consultancy business. Again, particularly in this pandemic, because a number of wellness professionals I work with and coach and train, are wondering, like, how do they position themselves now to organizations, right? And I'm really encouraging them to look to tools, particularly like Ruzuku, to maybe transition some of their their on-site programs to an online version. And a number are already looking to do that. So on that note, what tools and features do you consider Ruzuku offering to support them in this regard?
Well, the way I encourage people to look at it is look at how you need to support your customers and the life cycle of how your customer is going to work with you. So that begins with someone coming to essentially sign up for your course or your online program. So at that point, you need a platform to help you just handle the logistics, right? To allow them to register and enroll in the program, to take payment, to get them into the course, to send them a welcome email, and so on. So the kind of boring back end of your program, but that's really critical for it to work smoothly.
It is very critical, and I'll speak to my experience in just a second with that.
And then once someone has registered and paid and joined the program, you then need to deliver content, but then also engage them in some way. As you know, as we were discussing before, like typically content alone is not enough, but it is the core of the program. So you would create a structured kind of step-by-step program, whether that's a series of modules or however you are, laying out the progression of your curriculum. And then you would securely deliver the content that is curated for that specific course, right? So that might be videos, it might be PDF handouts, might be articles or other resources.
Yeah.
And then you would give people ways to engage with you and their peers in that program within the context of that structure. So you could give them specific discussion questions to respond to, like, what have you learned from, the specific approach to workplace wellness, or what is the biggest challenge you're facing within your team about how to implement these ideas?
Right.
And then you could combine that with then live facilitation, like you mentioned. So hosting live webinars on Zoom, for example, linking to those from your course and providing replays of those in the course for people who need to catch up on them later.
Yeah.
So that's really the core of the life cycle, the core of the experience, and you can share how you've implemented that yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to add on, I'm thinking about because there's so many tools. And as I was preparing for this interview, I was thinking, like, what are some of the key features I wanted to bring up? And there's just so many, like things like, your platform allows employees to indicate or set their notification preferences, right? So do they want to be notified by email of when someone posted a comment or a reply to something they said? And a lot of our students really love that because, again, it reminds them that, there's someone's commenting on something they said and it brings it right to their inbox. Or they can choose to not do that because you have well set up to do that, right? And I love that your platform allows students to do video replies. So in our COVID course the other day, one of our participants did a video reply. And it was so great. And it just really adds variety and enriches and really helps to, especially in this climate when we're losing that face-to-face contact, it just really adds another dimension, right? And it really helps to build those cohesive cultures, right? Also, like your platform, I know a number of people use it for doing membership groups. And so this would maybe be those who have health coaching programs, for example. But your program's also, like, what I love about it too is, like, I run my program several times a year. And so each year when I go to do a new iteration of it, new offering, I go and click copy course, and within seconds, the whole course is copied over. So my gracious, even for on-site work, it doesn't happen that easily. But with online learning and with your platform, you can just click the button and literally within seconds, the whole course is copied over. So you can hit the ground running really quickly when you want to do a new course offering, right? And then lastly, but your tech support is so phenomenal. And usually, like, I kid you not, like within hours, someone's getting back to me, or if it's a holiday or something, maybe a day or so, but you're so responsive with your tech support, which I know myself and my students really appreciate that because it doesn't happen very often. But if there's a technical issue they need help with, then you're really, you're really responsive with that. Yeah. Anything else, or is that pretty well, offer? And
I've enjoyed just sitting here and letting you sing my praises, so I don't want to.
Yeah. Well, no, and but also I just want to also say you talked about the e-commerce, but for those, and I know this has really served well for a number of people who maybe don't have a website, or maybe internally, a training officer or a workplace wellness provider in an internal position in workplace wellness, for example, may have a new wellness program. And so you have a nice sales page that you can very easily create that they can grab a link and then share it out to their employees or their, clients if they're a health coach, maybe a health coaching program. And so again, it saves time and money from having to hire someone to do a sales page because it's already built-in tool. So that's a really nice part of your e-commerce, and you can create payment links very easily, and it's just so simple to use. I think that's one of the things I really appreciate about your platform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very much so. So I obviously I can't sing the praises enough, and I've been using it for 5 years, and our programs have reached, I think, 11 countries, over 100. We don't take on a lot of participants every year in our programs. We call ourselves more of a boutique certification program because we do a lot of one-on-one work with our people, so we don't take on a lot. But all that being said, you know, over the past 5 years in 11 countries, I think we've certified over 100 people, and truthfully, there's no way we could be offering our programs without, you know, a platform such as Ruzuku. So I'm eternally grateful to your program and your platform. Just as we wrap up, then, is there, you know, are there any success stories of past or maybe current Ruzuku clients, and, you know, that you'd like to share, and maybe how they grew their consultancy or even their own internal training programs as an organization?
Yeah, I mean, we see both models. There are a lot of, you know, consultants like you that are, you know, either working, you know, with companies or organizations, or providing some kind of certification.
Mm-hmm.
We also work with a lot of organizations directly. So example would be like the Drucker Institute, which provides management training based on kind of the work of Peter Drucker, who's the famous you know, management author.
I know him well. Well, I
Yeah.
studied.
Yeah, for sure. Very influential. The Daring Way, which is the coaching organization set up by Brene Brown to certify people in her techniques.
Wow.
So lots of kind of, you know, learning organizations and consultancies use the platform.
So thank you. I really appreciate it. This has been a great opportunity, and I again, I really value you. You're giving us your time and really sharing your experiences. And just as we wrap up, I really want to really emphasize just how valuable a platform such as Ruzuku, and we, you know, in this, you know, short interview, we've only begun to touch on and scratch the surface of everything that it can offer organizations or, you know, independent agents who are health coaches or workplace wellness professionals, and how it can help grow their business. And I know, because I've seen it personally, I've witnessed it, I've experienced it personally, and I've helped others in our programs use Ruzuku to grow their business.
Mm-hmm.
So Abe, is there anything else you might like to share about Ruzuku that maybe, well, we didn't touch on already?
I think this was a great teaser, great introduction to hopefully intrigue people to learn more. I'll just add that I'm happy to hear from anyone directly with questions. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. My direct email is abe@ruzuku.com, and I'd love to hear from anyone.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that offer. So Abe, again, thank you so much. And to our viewers, as we wrap up this episode of our Cultivating Healthy and Vibrant Workplaces interview series, I want to thank you once again, Abe, for joining me. And I'm sure our viewers will find incredible value in learning about Ruzuku and all the, you know, successes you've shared to date with your platform. So to learn more about Ruzuku and their platform options, be sure to visit their website at www.ruzuku.com. Again, that's www.ruzuku.com, RUZUKU.com. And exclusive to our listeners, Abe has been nice enough to extend this offer. We are providing a coupon code in the interview notes, offering a 30% discount off their up-and-comer annual plan. So again, when you go to their website, you can check out their up-and-comer annual plan, and they're going to offer 30% discount for those who use this coupon code in our show notes. And I have another special bonus for those who purchase a Ruzuku platform via this coupon. I will be providing a one-on-one, step-by-step tactical hand-holding tutorial in how to set up a very high-impact, client-centric program for your organization, or maybe, you know, your own personal workplace wellness or health coaching program. And I'm going to share everything I've learned over the past 5 years in creating highly successful, highly interactive global certification programs using this amazing platform. So to our viewers, thank you so much for watching and supporting our series. And if you are a wellness enthusiast or a wellness professional, perhaps, or, you know, an internal corporate trainer or an internal workplace wellness provider, professional, and you're interested in certifying for dynamic career opportunities in corporate wellness or advancing yourself in corporate wellness, I would invite you to check out our website at workplacewellnesscoe.com. Again, that's workplacewellnesscoe.com to explore our Workplace Wellness Leadership Certification Series and our Executive Wellness Coaching Internship or our Executive Wellness Leadership Program. And if you are interested in learning more about our programs, you may certainly email me at info@workplacewellnesscoe.com and we can schedule a free program consult. Also, if you found this episode to be informative and illuminating, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Workplace Wellness Center of Excellence, to receive notifications of future episodes. So my friends, until we meet again, I wish you the very best health and happiness, especially in these tender pandemic times. So be well and so long for now. Take care.